So you guys know that the full moon in Leo is coming up on the 12th, right? I've been seeing a lot of 411 and 911, which really brings in this energy of not only stability and balance, but the stability and balance that comes in from making the decision to walk away. Now, hear me out. 411 represents structure in a sense. And when you combine the numbers in numerology, it carries the energy of 6 in that 411 message. 6 in itself carries the energy of relief from conflict, like cooperation, things working together and falling into place. And doesn't it just feel right that all that comes as a result from walking away from what no longer serves you? That brings us to 911, which really puts an urgency to the idea of releasing what no longer can come with you into what's next. And I know sometimes it can feel like we're talking in circles because these energies and these messages can kind of commingle and say the same thing in 11 different ways, but work with me here, okay? The moon, full moon specifically, is all about the energy of releasing, reflecting, and really honing in on that self-awareness. To up the ante a little bit, not only is the full moon coming on the 12th, but it's in Leo. So when you work with the full moon and the phases of the moon, it's best to pay attention to the additional energies that are commingling with it. If you really want to get deep, you can look into the other alignment of the stars and the planets and see who's doing what. I'm not an astrologer. I take the time to look up what I can just for the betterment of my own knowledge and of the readings that I'm doing for the collective. But it's great information if you take the time to look into it. It really breaks it down at a customized level to help you apply it to you and your situations and help you understand how to navigate and work with the energy. Because at the end of the day, what are you doing? Co-creating with the universe, right? Exactly. You're not a background character. Now, since this full moon is going to be in Leo, what we're going to look at is the characteristics of the Leo, right? I feel like a lot of times people are quick to say, oh, they're showy, they're entitled, etc., etc. And while Leos can appreciate the gaze and the respect of others, I like to look at what the moon does with Leo characteristics. In tarot and in general, the moon shines a light on the things you can't see. When does it pop out? At nighttime. So it's shining a light on the things you can't see in the shadows, or the things you choose not to acknowledge in the shadows. So when we look at Leo characteristics, take that first example I used, entitled and showy. While they can come off that way, it really is just an appreciation. A lot of times Leos are extremely confident because they know what they're working with and they don't mind showing it off. And I don't think it comes from a malicious place, but that's just how they're set up. They're passionate about a lot of things. I mean, they are ruled by the sun. And if you think about it, the sun, which is never, ever in retrograde, is consistent, is stable. So if they are consistently courageous and consistently, contagiously even confident, you have to expect that from them without assuming it's from a negative place. So this moon is shining light on all the places where you could appreciate yourself a little more, show up and be more confident in yourself. And in terms of walking away and working with this energy, it kind of falls in line with the idea of trusting yourself to not only move forward, but do better than the situation that you're allowing to be released, to do better than the situation that can't come with you, to do better than the decisions and the habits that you know aren't necessarily helping you to grow. Along with that courage to just walk away and choose better and do better, Leos are very generous. They are very, very generous. So where can you look at yourself and choose to be more generous in the way that you nurture, in the way that you love, in the way that you pour into your own cup? And in those areas, determine what it is that's stopping you from actually making that happen. Work with those traumas, those childhood issues, those learned behaviors that no longer work with who you're becoming. Look at that. This full moon, any full moon, is also a time of reflection. Like I said, self-awareness, which Leos have a lot of. So take this time to be self-aware with yourself, to understand yourself, okay? In regards to this Leo energy, can we... Thank you. Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun. Talking about consistent, I just said the sun is never in retrograde. It is consistent, it is stable, and even if there's rain in the sky and clouds to cover it, you know that it is there every single day. Show up for yourself. Where can you be more consistent? Where can you have that same brave, action-based approach to life that Leo tends to have? Where can that benefit you? And in those areas that you pinpoint, what is it that you can do to push it away, to remove those blockages and allow yourself that chance to keep growing? Oh, thank you. Two of Wands, Wheel of Fortune. Look at all this beautiful fire energy. I don't even think I have to... Y'all know I didn't flip no cards. Tell me why the moon was sitting right here waiting for me. It's like I told you. When I look at the moon, I like to acknowledge that even though there's this dark night that you're fighting your way through, and there are these scary figures that you can't make out until they're right up on you. Think of them as the obstacles, the unforeseen circumstances, the inconveniences. That's what I want you to look at these scary figures as. And you won't be able to see them before they get there. But despite that, you choose to keep going. Despite how many of those obstacles are waiting for you, you choose to keep going. You work with this, you work through it, you navigate through it, because having to deal with this, it isn't meant to hinder you. It's meant to strengthen you, give you lessons, give you wisdom, give you new abilities and insights when traveling your path. And most of all, it's meant to guide you. It's meant to strengthen you. This path, the path is still visible. We're very aware that it's nighttime, but not only does the moon shine light on what you can't see, it illuminates the path for you. Because if you can choose to keep going and make it through that valley, there's a mountaintop waiting. You can't give in, okay? So work with your emotions, all right? Approach them passionately, because they are yours and no one else's. They're yours alone to conquer, yours alone to use as a tool, yours alone to validate.